In 2006, Italian football faced a reckoning. The Calciopoli scandal wasn't just a conspiracy theory, it was confirmed corruption. Wiretaps revealed Juventus executives manipulating referee appointments, ensuring favorable calls. Matches weren't being won by skill, they were being engineered. Clubs like AC Milan, Fiorentina, and Lazio were implicated. Juventus paid the ultimate price, stripped titles and relegation to Serie B. But was this truly justice, or just the tip of an even deeper iceberg? The fallout sent shockwaves across Europe. From Italy to Spain. Between 2001 and 2018, Barcelona paid over 7 million euros to a man named José Negreira, the vice president of Spain's referee committee. Officially, they were consulting fees. Unofficially, fans saw it as bribery. The timing couldn't be more suspicious. Barcelona's golden era, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, trophies, and behind the curtain, a potential shadow operation to influence referee decisions. The payments were made in cash and routed through shell companies, raising even more red flags. Negreira's role wasn't symbolic. He had access to match officials, disciplinary committees, and performance evaluations. No match was directly proven to be fixed. But 17 years of secret payments? That's a pattern too loud to ignore. The optics alone have rattled La Liga's credibility. This one hasn't been closed. It's still under investigation. And the final chapter? Yet to be written. As investigators dig deeper, the scandal threatens to stain an entire era of dominance. Rival fans argue every controversial decision now carries an asterisk. Some journalists have even started re-examining match footage from that era for signs of favoritism. Whether it's systemic corruption or not, it casts a long shadow over Spanish football. When Qatar won the bid to host the 2022 World Cup, the world raised eyebrows. No football legacy, scorching summer heat, a tiny population. How did they win? Whistleblowers, FBI investigations, FIFA executives indicted. The evidence suggests a massive bribery campaign, with some votes reportedly sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Several former FIFA members have since testified to receiving lavish gifts, luxury travel, and direct financial incentives. The depth of corruption exposed a voting system that many now see as fundamentally broken. Even the U.S. Department of Justice confirmed multiple officials accepted bribes, and yet Qatar still hosted the tournament. Beautiful stadiums, dramatic matches, a sporting spectacle. But behind the glamour, many believe the games began long before the opening whistle. The decision to move the World Cup to winter only fueled suspicions. That move disrupted leagues worldwide, suggesting extraordinary influence. Despite the controversies, FIFA never reversed course, and raising the question, was the integrity of the vote ever meant to matter, or was it sold to the highest bidder from the very beginning? World Cup 1978. Argentina needed to beat Peru by 4 goals to reach the final. They won 6-0. Coincidence? Or collusion? Argentina's dictator at the time, Jorge Videla, reportedly visited Peru's dressing room. Shortly after, Argentina sent Peru 35,000 tons of grain and unlocked $50 million in credit. Was it political blackmail, bribery, or an act of sporting genius? Some Peruvian players admitted the match felt off. The goalkeeper was Argentine-born. The goals came easily, too easily. One Peruvian defender later claimed they were told to take it easy in vague but pointed terms. Journalists who analyzed the game noted Peru's lack of resistance and uncharacteristically weak defending. To this day, many believe Argentina bought their place in the final and the trophy. Investigative journalists have pointed to the political climate as key context, a regime hungry for international legitimacy. For Argentina, winning the World Cup was more than football, but it was a propaganda mission, a carefully choreographed show of strength to distract from the atrocities happening just outside the stadium walls. South Korea's run to the semifinals in 2002 was the stuff of dreams, but their victories over Italy and Spain? Nightmares for the opposition. 3 disallowed Spanish goals, a red card for Totti, dubious offside calls, penalty shouts ignored. 2 referees, Moreno and Algondur, never officiated major matches again. Moreno was later caught smuggling heroin. Was it just home field advantage and bad officiating? Or was FIFA helping the host nation go deep to boost ratings and ticket sales? Even Sepp Blatter, FIFA's then president, called the refereeing the only negative of the tournament. For many, that was an understatement. Critics argue the sheer volume of errors couldn't be explained away. Both Italy and Spain lodged formal complaints, but FIFA swiftly closed the cases without a second look. Players and managers spoke of feeling robbed on the biggest stage. The matches weren't just unfair, they felt manipulated. To this day, those matches remain some of the most controversial in World Cup history, and for good reason. The stain of 2002 still lingers on what could have been a fairy tale. It was supposed to be a Champions League classic. Instead, it became a conspiracy classic. Chelsea versus Barcelona. Referee Tom Henning Overabo missed 4 clear penalty shouts for Chelsea. Ballack, Drogba, and millions of fans watched in disbelief. UEFA wanted a dream final. Messi versus Ronaldo. Not an English repeat. Was it poor officiating, or was something else at play? Overabo later admitted mistakes, but he never reffed a big match again. Coincidence? You decide. For many Chelsea fans, that match is more than a bad memory. It's a wound that never healed. The decisions didn't just change a game. They may have altered the course of history for one of England's biggest clubs. Some fans even suspect UEFA manipulated the outcome to promote a marketable final between 2 of the world's biggest stars. Conspiracy theories flourished online, fueled by post-match reactions and player outbursts. Even today, compilations of the missed calls circulate regularly, a reminder of a night many believe was rigged before the first whistle. The 1998 World Cup final, Brazil versus France. But something was wrong. Ronaldo, the star, looked like a ghost. Hours before the match, he reportedly suffered a seizure. He was dropped from the squad, then miraculously reinstated minutes before kickoff. Brazil lost 3-0. Rumors spread fast. Did Nike, Brazil's mega sponsor, force him to play for marketing? Was it a cover-up? A fix? Brazil's government launched an inquiry. Teammates whispered about pressure. The truth remains murky, but that final never felt right. The sudden shift from bench to starter was never fully explained. Some claim Ronaldo begged to play. Others think decisions were made above the coach's head. The real story? Still buried beneath decades of silence. French defenders said Ronaldo looked dazed, and medical experts questioned the ethics of letting him play. Years later, Ronaldo himself admitted he had no memory of that day. Whether it was medical negligence, corporate interference, or something darker, one of football's greatest stages may have hidden one of its deepest secrets. 5 penalties in 7 games, favorable draws, FIFA tweeting the GOAT mid-tournament, and a fairy tale ending. Messi, in his last World Cup, lifting the trophy in Qatar, a country that owns his club, PSG. Louis van Gaal called it was premeditated. Was it rigged? Or just destiny? Either way, the stars aligned a little too perfectly. Many fans noticed how officiating often seemed to lean in Argentina's favor. With billions watching and a global icon chasing his final dream, the suspicion that narratives influenced decisions was hard to ignore. Was it really football fate, or a story too good not to script? Some critics pointed out the soft penalties awarded and the timing of key calls. Others questioned how Argentina always seemed to avoid the tournament's biggest threats until the final. From promotional campaigns to match scheduling, every element appeared tailored for a messy coronation. For many, the line between romance and manipulation was dangerously thin. Ever notice how certain teams always seem to get lucky in tournament draws? There's a theory, the hot balls conspiracy. The idea is simple. Heat or mark certain draw balls so they can be picked by feel. It sounds crazy until you realize UEFA draws are often done without independent oversight. Sepp Blatter once admitted it's possible. And in football, if it can be done, who's to say it hasn't been? Some fans even track draw reactions and patterns, claiming certain pairings recur suspiciously often. Former players and pundits have joked about the theory, but sometimes their tone doesn't sound like they're joking. In an era where billions are at stake, manipulating the bracket could be a subtle yet powerful tool. High-stakes matches generate massive revenue, and organizers may prefer certain storylines. Until greater transparency is enforced, doubt will always linger. Argentina, again. In the 1990 World Cup, Brazil dominated the round of 16 match until their players started collapsing with cramps and nausea. One theory, Argentina offered water to Brazilian players during a stoppage, laced with a mild sedative. Brazil's Branco later claimed he drank it and instantly felt weak. Years later, Diego Maradona hinted it was true. He laughed, but never denied it. Did Argentina drug their way to victory? In a knockout match? Madness. Or method? The story gained traction over the years, becoming folklore in South American football. While no hard proof ever surfaced, the timing and symptoms made it one of football's eeriest mysteries. Teammates said Branco looked pale and disoriented shortly after taking the drink. Argentina scored the winning goal late in the match, despite being outplayed for most of it. For many, it wasn't just suspicious, it was too perfect, a clever trick disguised as sportsmanship. Tottenham 2006, one game away from Champions League qualification, then disaster. Half the squad falls violently ill hours before kickoff. The cause? Allegedly, lasagna. Spurs lost the match and the Champions League spot. Fans believed sabotage. Arsenal fans rejoiced. Investigations found no foul play, just bad hygiene. But for Spurs fans, it still smells fishy. Some players were reportedly bedridden and could barely run. The timing, the night before the most crucial match, remains suspicious. It's the kind of twist only football drama can deliver. Years later, players like Michael Carrick and Jermaine Jeunesse spoke about how unwell the dressing room truly was. Food poisoning at that scale, at that time, felt almost too convenient. Whether it was an accident or something more sinister, the damage was done. And Spurs' Champions League dreams vanished overnight. In the 1940s and 50s, Spain was ruled by dictator Francisco Franco. During his reign, Real Madrid rose to power. Was it coincidence or state-sponsored success? Barcelona fans point to stolen players, suspicious officiating, and Franco's open support for Madrid. Some call the club Franco's team. Real Madrid deny it. But in a regime where dissent was crushed and football was a propaganda tool, many believe the results were pre-written. Transfers of top talent from rival clubs to Madrid were often backed by government pressure. Political favoritism wasn't just suspected, it was widely accepted. In a dictatorship, even the pitch can become a battlefield. The most infamous example is the forced transfer of Alfredo Di Stefano, a tug-of-war between Barca and Madrid that mysteriously ended in Franco's favorite club's favor. Matches between the two clubs during that era often carried an edge of political tension, with referees accused of siding with the regime's chosen team. To this day, El Clásico isn't just a football rivalry, it's a historical clash steeped in politics, power, and unresolved wounds. Some of these conspiracies have been proven, others remain locked in shadows, somewhere between suspicion and truth. But one thing is clear, in football, what you see on the pitch isn't always the whole story. Which conspiracy do you believe?